So, how many people do you think you need before your voice and your story counts? 1,000 followers? 10,000? Some number you have not hit yet. I want to tell you that number is a lie. Welcome to the Stuck No More Voices podcast. I'm Theresa Croft. I help Christian women leaders move from stuck to seen by activating their calling and activating their story. If this is your first time here, hit the subscribe button. Welcome. It's a small thing, really, but it helps this message reach the next one woman who needs it. Thank you. So this is your kind of room. No hype, no performing, just real women stepping into what God already placed in them. And by the way, I have something really special. I'm opening the doors July 1st to the Calling Activation Seminar. More details coming up and in the show notes. So there's a word in this passage that I can't stop thinking about. The word is metron. It means measure. It means fear. In 2 Corinthians chapter 10, Paul says he will not boast past the measure God gave him. He says inside the sphere assigned. Let's look at the verse. Verse 13. We will not boast beyond measure, but within the limits of the sphere which God appointed us. The sphere is the field with your name on it, your metron, not the field you wanted, not the field next door, the one God handed you right now. And your metron is the measure God assigned to your voice. And I believe your story is part of that measure too. It's the place where your words carry weight, where your authority is real, as is your responsibility. It is yours. Let me give you an example. Last year, I was sitting on a biopsy table. They had seen something in the scans and needed to check it out. I'll never forget it, lying there cold. And I heard the Holy Spirit say, T, will you make this another story for my glory? I wanted to say, God, I have a story. I have a metron. But I said yes. And that yes carried me through every biopsy, every MRI, every incision of the surgeon's scalpel. And there were two cancer surgeries because the first one, I'll spare you the bloody story. So now it's another field, another metron to what I already speak about. So I'm able to speak to someone who has cancer. I'm cancer free. I know there's a lot worse stories, but I'm able to speak to the person who's suffering with that terrible disease. So here's the part that sets a woman free. You do not need everyone. You never did. Yeah. So stuck is when you stand at the field and you stare at someone else's field. That's stuck. Her numbers, her stage, her crowd, her good looks. You look at what God handed her and you start to despise what God handed you. And while your eyes are on her field, your own goes untended. Seen is different. Seen is when you turn around and tend the field you're already in. Those people. The woman who reads every post. The woman who comments on every post. The woman who says, thank you for this message. You water that ground. You do not wait for a bigger one to start. Let me give you another example. I am currently back in radio. But back some 20, 25 years ago, I was in radio, and being on the air was much of my identity. And I remember one time I was on the morning show. Total cool. Everyone's listening. You're known as the morning show host. And he moved me to the midday. My sphere of influence was moved to the midday, and it was hard. I was like, oh man, this midday is so boring. But I stayed there. And then later, I was actually pregnant too, by the way. And later, he moved me to back to the morning. My last 5 years before I retired back then, I was on the morning show. Even took my son into work. Metron, Sphere. Now I'm back on the radio after 18 years hired back. It's part-time, but I don't care what shift I'm on because I'm actually on a shift that not a lot of people listen to. But you know what's changed? I know that's my sphere of influence. So I look into the camera. We don't have camera in radio. I listen. I imagine as I'm speaking that I'm talking to one person. I tend to what I have, maybe smaller than back in 25 years ago. It doesn't matter because I know that is my field. It's small, but I'm not looking for it to grow because it's the radio station, but I'm seeing myself grow in trust in God and trust in my story as I tend to the small. Here's the field that grows. Let's talk about that. It's not by striving, it's by stewarding. And I might ask, investing in your voice and in your story. Investing is kingdom. Isaiah, let's look at him. He says, enlarge the place of your tent. But read this order. The enlarging comes after faithfulness, not before. God widens the fence when he sees you tending to what is already in it. He hands the bigger room to the woman who kept the small one clean, or he hands a bigger room to a woman who already has a window, big field, but she tends the big. She's faithful. I think that's the word. She's faithful with what she has, faithful with the small. I got large numbers and I'm going to be faithful to the large numbers. The size of the crowd is not the assignment. The people in it are. Before my diagnosis, I had a podcast academy. I'll give you another example. And part of it was about using AI the right way. I had brought myself into the sphere of AI by training myself and then training my AIs. I posted this this morning on Instagram. A little bit of AI added to your own thought shows how brilliant you already are. But the point of making it your metron, another field, is you do have to train it. You are the prophet, AI is the scribe. So it's so exciting to see these women really learn AI in the midst of a podcast course. And I have to say, a couple of years later, I think they're more excited about the AI than they actually are about trying to do a podcast. I mean, some of them have, but they're still using it today. I hear from them and they're so excited. And they say, have you tried Claude? Have you tried? So that was a different metron that I got to influence. And, I thought, no, I got to say this is off the cuff. I think when you walk in the assigned field that God gives you, I think there's a lot of joy in that. And you can have more than one spheres. Like I said, I had a cancer, I have teaching, I have AI, but I think you really enjoy it. And you enjoy coming from that influence to be able to influence others. But I showed the women how to train it in their own voice. And so many of them today are using it. One woman joined the podcast just to write her book. And she learned so much about podcasting and writing her book. But the greatest thing she learned was how to use AI to help her, not write her book, but to help her. So listen, you don't need a bigger crowd to begin. You need to be faithful in the one that God assigned you, the metron that God already gave you. Tend that field. Speak to those people and trust God. He decides when the fence moves out. So sit with this episode, maybe in your quiet time. A lot of times I do that. If something impacts me or I need to hear it again and take notes, I do that. So think about this. Whose names are in your field right now? Not the ones you wish you were, the ones who already are. Speak to them this week like they are the whole assignment, because in reality, they are. If this stirred something in your heart, here's your next step. On July 1st, I am hosting a live seminar, more like a fire chat, of the date of this podcast. I will be having more in the future, but this is July 1st, 2/26 at 7 p.m. It's just going to take an hour. It is free. In the show link, I'll give you a link so you can step in with a VIP ticket. And this is where you'll learn how to step into your calling. Trust your voice and be seen for your message, your story. No overthinking, no over staring. It's just like it's your story and you don't have to stare at everyone else's. The link's in the show notes, as I said. Come sit in the room with us, with me. And then send this episode to someone else who needs it, who is looking at everyone else's field and feeling very overwhelmed. Tend your field, friend. God will move the fence in his time. I'll talk to you in the next episode of the Stuck No More Voices podcast.